Okay.
Don't worry about it going fast. It was just that Adele had played around with some new function about using it like a Kahoot. Normally it's nice and slow.
Right. Okay. So here I can choose the type of polling thing I want. What we just did now was word cloud. So if you do the word cloud, you write your question here and people can answer. You've got open-ended questions where the answers are going to come in either as speech bubbles, one by one, or a flowing grid. There's scales, which I've never actually used, but are pretty good for how are you feeling today. You've got that kind and spider chart, which no, that's only if you pay. You have ranking. How would you rank these items? And you have Q&A. You have quiz competition, which is what I showed you before. I was playing around with it. So the quiz competition lets you do a competition that's sort of like Kahoot like, and they can type an answer. But the ones that I usually use most, like there's all these different things that you could play around with and all these new things that I haven't even played around with myself. But the most common ones are, the one that I like most is word cloud. But open-ended is also really good when you want to get varied open-ended answers from your students. So the advantage of the Mentimeter is that it allows for different kinds of interactions. The disadvantage, as opposed to the straw polls that I showed you, is that you do need to set this up before class, whereas the straw poll is, I can do it now and get it done and it's done. You have to set this up ahead of time. So the pedagogy, so for polls, you can use it for pre-reading. For example, if you're teaching all my sons, what's more important, family or country? Which road would you take? The one less traveled or the road more traveled? Regarding this topic, do you feel this topic needs more instruction, practice? Are you ready to roll, say, as an exit ticket with an open-ended option? Another open-ended kind of question that I would ask my students is, what type of assignments do you prefer? Open-ended or clearly defined? Do you want me to give you a choice board, or do you want me to tell you, do A, then B, then C, then D? Because even though I thought choice boards were the bee's knees, some of my kids, at the beginning at least, complain that it's too much choice and it's too confusing. You can use it as exit tickets. So anybody else have any other suggestions for how to use it? You're welcome to write in the chat.
Oh, that's a great idea. Let's give everybody a minute to answer how they would use Mentimeter in their blended learning.
Any of these polling tools.
Somebody just asked, you set it up, then you save it, how and where. There's a difference between menti.com and mentimeter.com. Menti.com is where you put in a code. Mentimeter.com is you open an account and you make the poll and you save it, and then you use it from your Mentimeter account.
And it says make a new poll. So you click on make a new poll, and then you put in your questions and you choose your type of answer. And then, as you see, Adele has a whole list of different presentations that she's made over time. So let's look at some of the answers that they've written in the chat. Okay, and we use it for pre-reading and for brainstorming. I would even use it for brainstorming for some of maybe the higher order thinking skills. You can have them put in ideas of how they use distinguishing different perspectives in their life, things like that. They can put their answers in Mentimeter. Haley asks, do you recommend we do one poll question or more at a time? Like one question at a time or more than one question at a time?
It depends what you want. I mean, it depends on your needs. I usually do like one, but say if we're in in a teacher training session, in a community session, sometimes we have more than one. It depends on the flow. It depends on your pedagogy. It depends on what you want to achieve.
Okay. Here's
as
a
a
really
school.
nice idea. Suzanne says you can upload a video to Mentimeter
Mhm.
and you can ask a question about the video. And if you have them do that before class, then you can start class by viewing their answers to the question about the video that they watched before the class. Now that's a lovely idea of blended learning, because what you're doing is that you're extending your learning beyond the face-to-face time. And that's really what we're looking for with the blended learning, is they started just like you did today. You started half an hour before. You did some thinking and some learning and some watching, and then you came in here a little bit more ready to for your face-to-face lesson.
Okay, I've
And
never seen a video embedded in it. Have to look that up.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, that's just like I had put in the emoticons. You can put in pictures and they choose a picture.
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
For opinion writing pros and cons, for giving compliments to their classmates, saying a nice word.
Ooh, oh, that's so nice.
That's a great idea. To introduce a new topic, to check basic understanding, opinions on a
Predicting.
topic for an essay.
Mhm.
I use it in a log, I guess is one of the questions in the log. You know, a lot of people use it for pre-learning or before a piece of literature. A few people have written that. And it's also nice. You know what I love, Natalie? You said to lighten up the atmosphere and to make class a little more humorous. You know, like the cookie question that Adele asked. It made us all smile and relax a little bit. And that's something that's so important during this time where, as you saw, the Mankal Misrad HaChinuch said today that more and more people, more and more students are reporting that they're feeling stress in the course of every day. And we really need to stop and think more than anything about how our students are feeling. A little bit less analysis of literature and a little bit more checking in on how our students are feeling. It's great to start a class discussion, problem solving, opening activities, wonderful ideas. Wow. You can all download these ideas. You can download the chat by clicking at the 3 dots to the right side of where it says 2. And so you can save these ideas and read through them at your leisure after our session today, because they're absolutely wonderful ideas here. Okay, thank you, Adele, for that little interlude. Now let's move forwards.
Okay, the tool number 3 that I'm going to show you today is called time blocks. So this is the time block. You go to the site, you create an agenda. So literature circle turns, and I've got Melissa signed up, and Moshe Pipik, and Judy, and Adele. And they all have turns to talk for, I don't remember what I set it up as, 3 minutes each. So you put this on the board, you put up your agenda, what you want to book talks, and start the clock. And now it's Melissa's talk. You've got 3 minutes to talk.
And so you put me on the spot. I think that this is a great idea. You know, to organize and to make your lesson feel, you know, if they're preparing for the COBE or if they're giving book talks, it's a way of just organizing the class. It's an agenda tool, right? Or a meeting running tool. So it's a way of running your class in a way that, and you know, when the students see that they're timed and they feel the class moving forwards like this, it makes things more exciting. I wouldn't use it every class, but once in a while, it's a really nice tool.
Right. So for example, when we have book literature circle and I let each student talk for a minute, so I could set this up ahead of time and use this to keep track of how much time each person has. For the co-presentations, as Melissa said, for panels and debates, those of you who do debates in your schools, how else could you use this tool in your online or face-to-face sessions?
Ronit writes, it's great for 60-second talks.
Mm-hmm.
The exact link is timeblock.
Timeblocks.co.
.co. Timeblocks.co, as somebody typed above in the chat.
Mhm. And again, you'll have all of these in, you'll be able to see all of these afterwards. Okay, so I think that's enough. Okay,
There it goes.
right. So the next tool that I'm going to be showing you is a tool that Yardenj told me about. And I'm not going to show it to you live. My toolbar's in the way. My Zoom bar is in the way. I made a Digitally Yours to show you how to do it. Tova, first I'll show it to you and then I'll.
Share your sound, Adele.
Yes, I already did.
First quick tool I'm going to download is called Mote. I'm going to add it to Chrome. Yes, I'm adding it as an extension that's going to make my work a lot easier. So I've added it to Mote. If I want it to be able to show up here, I have to go into the extensions and pin it. I guess I have to sign in. It's getting kind of personal. All right, I'll sign in with Google. There we go. Alrighty, I'm now signed into Mote. I can use it on a Google Doc. And I'm not going to read through all this because you can when you download it. I understand. Okay. Hit refresh to open Mote. So refresh. And comment. Where's my Mote? Oh, here it
There
is.
it is.
Yay! So, yes, I will allow, this only happens on the first time. Got it. And I'm going to say, this is a really easy way for me to add comments to my students' work. And they can talk back to me as well. Or at me? Or is it with me? No. Can review it. Oh, it even
This is
a
a
really
really
easy way for me to add comments to my students' work. And they can talk back. Oh, shut up, Adele. Okay, that works. So there we go, comment. This is a really easy way for me to add comments to my students' work. And they can talk back to me as well. Okay, shut up, Adele. Okay, so that was good. Note, it lets you talk to your docs and it even transcribes it pretty well. I'm pleased. Just keep in mind that if you are using Google Classroom within a Google domain, you might need to ask your admin to whitelist this Mote extension.
Okay, so that was Mote. And it wasn't too hard to figure out. And again, I've written down the steps for you as well. And you'll be able to see this tutorial if you want to look through it again. The only problem I had with it is on my laptop, it works fine, but on my main computer, for some reason, it wasn't, I couldn't, my recordings didn't come out clear. And I have a feeling it's because I've got too much technology here on my computer. I've got a few microphones and I was sort of confusing myself. So it allows you to comment, leave voice comments that also transcribe themselves on Google Docs, Google Slides,
Google Classroom. You can leave comments on Classroom for assignments as well.
what in a Google Doc.
No, just outside of it in Google Classroom.
Oh,
it
I've never tried that.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. So who else would like to write in the chat how,
Safi asks if it can be used with Microsoft Teams because they don't use Google Drive.
I doubt it.
It is a Google extension, so I think that Microsoft Teams, you'd have to look to see if they have a similar tool.
Yeah. But you can
And-
use Google Docs and Microsoft Teams, right? Nothing's stopping you from using Google Docs.
Nachon. I think that you
There's
would just have to attach it there, right? You have to think about it in this way. Your student has been writing their project in a Google Doc. You are tired of typing. So instead of typing, you can rest your fingers and you can make more connection with your students by leaving them a message like, wow, Adele, this was a fantastic addition to your paper. I really love the blah, blah, blah that you did. And just the one comment I have is maybe you should add such and such. You can do it with your voice. They can hear you talking. So there you're more likely to leave a longer, more detailed comment, right? And they get the excitement into your voice as well. It's an amazing way of connecting with your students and letting your poor fingers rest a little bit.
People keep asking you if you have to download Mote, if the pupils have to download Mote.
No, I don't think so.
No, they don't. They don't have to download Mote. And
In order
someone
to answer, do they have to download it in order to answer? I don't believe they do.
No. And only you need it. And somebody then says, can the children then send, I don't know, I lost that message. But no, if a kid wants to be the one that initiates a Mote to the teacher on his Google Doc, he would need an account. of
Yeah,
it.
he would need that on his toolbar here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, but that's something that you could show them how to add on.
Mhm.
Okay, next is record to slides, which is also a Google thing. And again, this too, I'm not doing live because I can't Zoom and do it live at the same time.
Another extension to make my life easier. Go to the web store, record to slides. Here we go. Add to Chrome. Yes, add extension. And in order to see it, it's been added. In order to see it, you want to go down and pin it. And that's over there. It looks gray because there's nothing for it to record on now. So I'm going to open up my slide and boom, it turns orange.
Adele, we can't see.
Over here. Okay.
You can't what?
The toolbar for the share screen is above where you're showing on the screen.
Okay, there we go.
This is called record to slides.
And I'm going to click on. Here we go. That's what I want. And yes, I will allow to use my video. Oh, hello. It's dark already and it's late. And I'm gonna enable this to anyone in my domain. Anyone can see it. Yes. And yes. Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. And allow anyone to see it. And this looks like a great tool because I can record myself and easily put it inside my slides and explain to my students what it is that I want them to do in this slide over here. Or I can give them feedback on their slides and talk to them that way. And okay. And this looks like a great tool because I can record myself and easily put it inside my slides and explain to my students what it is that I want them to do in this slide over here. Or I can give them feedback on their slides and talk to them that way.
So I did there basically like check that it had recorded. And once you see that it's okay, you okay.
And this looks like a group. Okay. Come on.
All these things take a
We'll
little,
be patient.
it takes a little while.
Oh, there it is.
And then it pops up.
See what it looks like. It's still formatting. I'll come back later.
I also shortened this a little bit so we didn't have to wait quite so long. But you do have to wait a little.
It takes a while to format, but in the meantime, I'm going to move it down here. And I'll put something in here to look at. Ooh, that's a cute varmint. Okay, let's see. Is it ready? And this looks like a great tool because I can record myself and easily put it inside my slides. Shut up, Adele, we got it. And let's see if it works. I have to share this. Anyone on the internet can view. Done. And I'm gonna, I don't have my links a lot here, so I'm going to change this to read present. And copy that. And open up a different account that's totally unassociated. Oh, maybe my son.
What I'm doing is checking to see if you have to have any special permissions in order to be able to view it.
So how can you use this? How can you take this tool and use it in your class to help your online teaching?
So we have some really nice comments in the chat already.
And thank you for HT2 Nancy for this one.
Somebody said for the last one, for Moat would be a really nice way. Like if I don't write well in Hebrew, but I speak okay in Hebrew.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Killen.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
I'm speaking to maybe some weak students that need Hebrew feedback on what they're doing, then I as a teacher might feel more comfortable about leaving a verbal comment rather than a written comment. In addition to that, we have students who need instructions verbally because of their Hatzamot. So you can give instructions and you can do Hakra'ah for the students on anything that's written on the slides very easily using Moat. Or you could also use the second one that you showed me, which is called, I just forgot the name of it, Record to Slides.
I just have to add one thing though, Melissa. You need to turn off the transliteration where it puts what you say into words. If you're going to speak in Hebrew, I forgot to do it. And it tries to write what you're saying in Hebrew in English. And I mean, if you want to be really funny and send it to the kids, it's hysterical what it writes, but it's not Hebrew. It's what it sounds like in English to the computer.
I understand. Okay, thank you for that. Sophie writes, it's a little bit like Pear Deck. I would not say it's like Pear Deck because Pear Deck is about interaction. It's about the teacher asking a question and the students giving their responses, which is maybe even a little bit more like Mentimeter. Whereas this is about you adding a verbal or a video element to your slideshows. So these are more presentation tools and differentiation tools rather than student feedback tools, which is a lot of what we showed today is about activating students in class. This is not specifically activating, but it's more about reaching them and connecting with them with your voice and your beautiful face. Some people asked about, Adele, about these extensions. Not everybody's so familiar with downloading Google extensions. Is there any safety concerns that we should have, or does it slow down our computer? Do we need a newer, stronger computer in order to deal with these extensions?
It can slow you down. Safety, I don't know, anything that I see that's coming from Google or coming from someplace that I know, I'm not really concerned about. You click over here where, do we see this? Yeah. Hang on, wait a minute. 1 second, 1 second. I'm gonna turn on my spotlight. You go into the 9 dots, the waffle here for the apps, and you go into the web store and you download from here. So if you can ask for stuff that's by Google, stuff that you
By
trust.
Google.
And I don't know if it slows you down, but I do know that, like, when I see that I've got a whole bunch of things here that I don't use them, I remove them. If you see that you've uploaded it and are not using it, then take it off. The thing that confuses people sometimes is that you've added an extension, you can't see where it's gone to. And I showed this in a couple of the clips that I just showed you today. You go to this thing that looks like a puzzle piece, and here are all of your extensions. The ones that are in blue are the ones that are pinned up here, and the ones that are clear are the ones that I don't use all the time. These are a few extensions that I downloaded. I thought were going to be great. I didn't find them very useful. I'm not deleting them yet, but I'm just sort of leaving them here, and I'll check it out when I have a chance. And you can manage your extensions that way. So can I move on, or is there anything very pressing?
No, I think you can move on.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the next YouTube, which shows you how to do what I just did here. And it's really short. And I did it because people in one of our sessions asked me about this. It's about how to use this little light thingy, the pointer.
This is a super swift video because some of you have asked me how I find that flashlight thing when I'm sharing my screen. I go to Annotate and I go to Spotlight and click on that. And then I've got the spotlight. There we go. That's how I do it. That's all, folks.
So that was that one. That was quick tool number 6. Sharing, which I want to do with okay. So a word about sharing. This is, by the way, this is what I did the moat on here. And I have this wonderful PowerPoint, Google Slides that I want to share with my colleagues, but you have to be very careful about how you're doing the sharing. So if you're sharing anything within Google for Education domain, you have to be sure that when you do the sharing, this is not within the domain, but if you're sharing within a domain, it will tell you this is, you can either choose, you know what, let me show you something from my domain. Bear with me because I did not prepare this ahead of time. And I'm going to do a new screen share because I've switched. I've switched windows and I've in fact switched accounts. So this is a Google slide that I'm making from within my Google domain. When you see the share button that's in Google domain, it has like a building there. So you know that that's like a school or an institution. When you want to share it, if you guys are sharing any work with us, for example, for the work that you're doing for this course, and you're within a Google domain, you have to, this is something that you really have to pay attention to. You can share it this way so that anybody in your domain can find and view. But if you want people from outside your domain, you have to click on anyone with the link. And then you can do view or comment or edit. But work that is shared with us should always be, that's from within your Google domain, should always be anyone with the link as opposed to in your school. So I hope I have okay, I have Sir Links-a-Lot here. And Sir Links-a-Lot is something that's going to help me, instead of what I used to teach people to do, where you copy the end where it says edit and you delete that and you change it to present. Sir Links-a-Lot makes that a little bit easier for you. As long as you have shared so that anybody with the link can view, you go to Sir Links-a-Lot and you can either click here to force copy, and you put that into a new browser window and it comes up. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It didn't copy the, you click on force copy and then you copy link to clipboard. I skipped that step. Copy the link to the clipboard and it's copied to the clipboard. And then I open up. I'm not sure if this is going to work because I'm signed in the same place that I am. Okay, so this is what you share it with people and they have to make a copy. The other options with Sir Links-a-Lot is to get a preview. I'm copying that link to the clipboard and checking it out here so we can see this is a preview and it lets me see everything that's in my slide, which is nothing, but if I had slides here, it would show me all my slides. And the third one is to make a template, and that's really, really the coolest, because you enable people to make a template and it divorces it totally from your slides. And these are compatible with Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, or Drawings. The PDF will download with a link of a preview button. You can also use this for your forms, but if you're doing it for forms, if you're sharing it for forms, no, I don't want to do it on this one. I'll make a new form. If you're sharing it for forms, you have to do something that seems a little bit scarier. You have to, you have to have the settings so that it says add collaborators. Anyone with the link can edit. Done. And then you can use Sir Links-a-Lot to make a template. You copy that to the clipboard and you share it, and it asks them if they want to use this template. Because it's so scary, because I've already marked that anyone with the link can edit, I would not do this with my own personal form that I'm using in my classroom. Rather, I would make a copy of the form and do this procedure with the copy of the form so that no accidents can happen.
Can you explain the difference between a template and a regular copy again, please?
So if you have a regular copy, it looks like that. It just make a copy. It doesn't let the people see what they're copying. If you do it as a template, it shows them, here it doesn't show anything because there's nothing on the slide, but it will show them the slide that they want to copy. I'll do it, and I'll get out of here. And it will stop sharing and I will reshare.
And they get a little blue button that says use as a template, and then they press on that.
Oh, template, copy link to board. There's your blue button. And it lets me see everything that's in here before I copy, so I can decide whether I want to copy or not. It's the same thing with this and Google Forms. There's one thing that I did not plan to show you, but since it seems we have time, I am going to do it. Something that I actually used today in my classroom. It's another extension that's called Screencastify. I'm probably not going to be able to do this live. Well, I'll try. Screencastify is an extension that you add as well, and it will record your microphone, and it can also record your video, and you can make a recording of anything that's on your screen. So I can't do this now because I'm already using my microphone and it's not going to work. But what I did today in my own personal classroom is we had a lesson and we work with Google Classroom, and a bunch of kids didn't wake up, didn't get to the first lesson. So what I did while we were in a break, and in literally seconds, I used this Screencastify tool. I made a recording of what it is they have to do in the classroom. I said, you go into here and you do this, and you go into there and do that, and go into there and do that. And Screencastify downloads directly into your drive, and then you can upload that directly into your classroom. It can also be downloaded, and you can use that for making a short tutorial as well. So I'm basically finished. I gave you 8 tools instead of 7.
My
And if
gosh.
anybody has any questions, this
Oh
would be
boy, do you have questions? Okay, I'm going to keep the
stop
mic.
sharing.
Okay, I'm going to keep everybody muted for a few more minutes while I go through a few of the more recent questions. A lot of the earlier questions have already been answered or aren't relevant anymore, so please forgive me if I don't go all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to go backwards here. Can you explain the difference between Screencast-O-Matic and Screencastify?
They're different tools. Screencast-O-Matic does the same thing basically, but it doesn't download. It doesn't have the capability to download to within your drive. And because I'm using Classroom, and because I'm used to it, so I use it. Like I personally use to make my digitally yours things. I use a program that I can edit. Neither of these really have editing functions, but they're both good. The Screencastify you'll download to your computer, and you can share as an MP4. If it's not too long, you can share it in the WhatsApp. If it is too long, what I do is I just upload it to YouTube and share it as a YouTube. You can upload it to your drive and share it from there, but it takes up space.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make a note before anybody leaves. We're going to continue answering questions, but just before anybody leaves, please remember, if you found your way here today, then you know that the Zoom link for each session, it will be found on the today's session page on the course site. You know that there's a pre-session, a session, and a post-session. So you will go, yes, please share your screen while I talk, please. So you will go to your post-session link and click there, and you will find the work that you need to do in order to complete your requirements for this 3-hour session. As you notice, you had a half an hour before. We've only been online for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So you have a post-session task that should take you in the area of half an hour to complete. So here we are on today's, one second, just go back to the quick tools, to the main page of quick tools. And so you see on the right, there's post session. So if Adele clicks on the post session task, you'll see what you're supposed to do. And then under that, you will see a Google form. This Google form you click on, and then you see that you have to identify yourself. Please scroll down. Okay, and then after you identify yourself, down at the bottom, there is a spot where you are supposed to put a link to, or add your file, or put a link to your task, which means your task should be saved in your Google Drive, as Adele spoke about in our first session. So you need to copy and paste the link to your task here. Click submit at the bottom. You will get a receipt to your email that you submitted this. If you do not get a receipt to your email, it means that your internet went down right at that critical moment. You did not submit your form. If you don't get a receipt to your email, we did not receive your form. So please make sure that you did that, and you may have to do it again if for some strange fluke of reason it did not actually go through. Okay? So
If you
please
do
make
not remember how to do this, I recorded a tutorial for that on the front page of the blended learning course. There's a tutorial here that explains everything that Melissa said. So you can have Melissa with you all the time in my voice.
Fantastico. Okay, no, there are two different things. There is the exit ticket, and then there is also the
This is the way you hand in your work.
and then there's the post task. The exit ticket is attendance for this face-to-face session. And the post task is where you submit your post task work. It's two separate Google forms.
And I want to point out something that I just discovered from doing this tutorial for you guys. I kind of freaked out because I thought anything that's added from Drive, if the permissions aren't set properly, it's going to be a problem adding. But when you do it through add file, and you can add either upload or from Drive, if you upload from Drive, it overrides the sharing permission. It automatically opens it. Because if you are sharing from here with the link, you have to be very, very sure that anybody has permission to view it.
Melissa or Adele, do we have like a deadline to submit the task for today?
Yes, you have 1 week to submit your work from today.
Okay, and where is the exit slip? Oh,
I've posted it twice in the chat. I just
Chat,
posted it
okay.
again. Okay, the exit ticket is not on the site. It is only here in the chat.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
And
We are-
all of the things that I showed you today are here, except for the Screencast-O-Matic, the Screencastify. All of the other tools that I showed you are here. And here is the link with the steps that you can walk yourself through it again. Everything that I showed you today.
Okay. Adele, is there a
sorry,
choice in the
Melissa,
final task, or are
Melissa?
they supposed to do all three options?
Where is the link? Where is the link?
Do you have a chat? Do you see me posting it in the chat? I've posted it 3 times in the chat.
No, but I can't write on it. I don't know why.
Okay, there is an option that says the post task is make a Mentimeter or record to slides or Mote, either incorporate it into a lesson that you will be giving and reflect on how useful it is, or make it for a lesson that you've already taught and think this will improve it in some way. Write up what you've made and reflect in a Google Doc, and then share that link to your Google Doc in the form below. So there's a choice, because it's only a week, because maybe you want to do something that you don't have, you're not going to have a lesson to do it in this week. You can do it for a lesson that you've already taught and think it'll improve. Okay, any other questions?
Maybe I like, it's very possible that I'm confused here, but to me, every time I press on the link for the exit ticket, I don't know why it's bringing me to the post, the task, to the
I just tried it. I just tried the link and
Okay.
it took me to exit ticket. I
Yeah,
think
me
you
too.
Okay.
copied the wrong thing.
Okay, I must have.
It's opening the exit ticket
Yeah,
and it's
I already
opening
filled
it
it out,
in
yeah.
view form. And I can type on it. So if you're having a delay because your Zoom is open also, then just make sure that it's open on your computer and you can fill it out once your computer catches up with you.
Oh, and
Yeah,
now
I
it
just-
did it for me,
I
right,
just
of
checked
course.
it and everything is functioning properly here. So it's just a
Mhm.
matter of your computer catching up with you. Okay,
And
so
can we
And-
ask questions now? Sorry.
I'd just like
Um,
to mention one more thing. Just make sure that you say whether this is one of the 3 of your tasks that you would like to have comments on, because you don't get comments on all of them.
Where do you mention that? On the form?
it
On
was
the
told
form, right.
it was told to you in the first session that you need to choose 3, and you'll see in the post-task form, is this one of the 3 that you would like, and you need to say yes or no,
Sure.
that you'd like comments on. Okay, so
And-
Brenda asks, do you add the Mentimeter to the Google Doc, or how do we add it to the doc that has been sent to you if they make a Mentimeter?
So they can either add the link, adding the link to the Google Doc is a problem. They can, you screen share it, screenshot it, take a picture of the screen.
Oh, that's a good idea. Take a picture of the screen. Okay. And remember, if you have any issues with any of these things, you don't know how to do it, Debbie will be available for you next week in order to ask questions. And that's before your thing is due. So you can ask her then.
Actually,
Okay,
it's
somebody
tomorrow.
opened their
Bill?
mic. Who,
Melissa?
yeah,
I did.
who's the gentleman who wanted to speak?
did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Adele, question on the Mentimeter. I'd written in the chat that the free version limits you to 3 slides. However, I saw on your presentation you had one presentation with 16 slides, so I was very curious. Today actually I had a class and I had 2 open-ended questions, and it would not allow me to even add a 3rd slide. So I'm very interested in the limits.
I believe, let's see here, I'm making a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, I also saw today only for 3 slides.
It's, but you have a paid account, Adele, so you
No, I
don't
do
have
not.
the limitations.
I'm too cheap to pay for anything. You
How
joke.
did you have 16 slides
Yeah,
there?
I also.
You must have referred
It
a
was-
lot of people and they must have given you more.
There's one open-ended. I'm just curious if they'll allow you 3. I was only allowed 2, and it would not even allow me then a
That's
3rd
fine.
slide with a different
Fine.
content.
No, I can also only add 1 slide.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened.
Melissa,
And maybe because I was playing with all those other additional things. Anyway,
Now,
I-
it happened to me earlier today as well.
Okay,
I'm
maybe
gonna
it's a bug. Okay, thanks very much.
I'm going to copy
I
this
cannot
link
open
and
the
put this
link.
in
Why?
the chat. And anybody who is still here, where's my chat? My chat always gets lost.
Okay.
Anybody who is here is
Yeah.
welcome to answer
Debbie, can you
And
please
this
check?
question.
And in the meanwhile, I'm going to answer Jonathan that there are 2 different forms. One is just the attendance for today with a few little questions. And the other one is where you say whether you do or do not want this to be the one of the 3 you get comments on. And you also either upload or link your work to it. Okay, there are
Debbie.
2 different
And all
ones.
of that is explained in the tutorial on the front page. So if you're feeling insecure, just go into the tutorial. So now go into menti.com, please,
I
and use the
cannot
code
open the link. Why?
8620.
David,
Yes.
I cannot write on the link. Why?
Ignore the,
You
In the
can't
chat.
write on the exit ticket?
I cannot write. Why? In the link on the chat.
Did
Why
you
I cannot
open up
write?
the form? Did the form open up?
Yes, yes. Why I cannot write?
שנה, יש כללים, את יודעת אותם, נכון?
I don't know. Please mute your microphones if you're not
Maybe
speaking.
because I have internet, Rimon? No.
No,
No.
no, that doesn't block Google Forms. I suggest you try opening it again. I suggest you close it and try opening it again. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to write on it. It usually takes, if your computer's very slow, it can take a minute to open, but then you should be able to write on it.
And I do have office hours already tomorrow, not just next week from 6:30 to 7:30. I will put a link to Zoom up on the site and you can get to it there and join me in Zoom.
Somebody called?
Thank you.
Adele, I wanted to ask again about when we'll upload the file in the post session. You said something about we have in the definitions there to say it's like view all or something.
Anyone with the link can view.
If I upload using the link. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. May I ask a short question, Esther?
Yes, Esther.
I want to ask, I just wanted to ask if, oof, I forgot. Okay, I'm gonna.
Okay, somebody else also asked. Who's the other person who just
Haley.
asked? Go
Hi, I
ahead,
just have
Haley.
a question. When we do the Mentimeter, do we have to show you the results as they were used in class or just the preparation, the question?
Explain how you used it, what your objectives were, why you wanted to use it, and then you can try and share it with a link. And if not, just screenshot like what's on my screen now. You could screenshot.
So it has to actually be done. It's not just theoretical.
So no, that's what I said. If you're not going to get an opportunity to do it before you have to hand it in, because you've only got a week for this. So write how you think you would use it, how you plan to use it, what your objectives are, and that's it. Like you can't use it like if you don't have how to use it, but it's easy to use. It's quick to use, just.
Melissa, I remembered, sorry.
Okay, Esther.
I wanted to ask, how come Adele was able to make a lot of Menti thingies there? Because I was informed that it's you can do so many of them.
So we discussed that already. Basically, the answer is that Adele doesn't know. Sometimes even in these sites that are blocked, there are windows that you're able to do things that seems to bypass their block on free accounts.
It also
So
might
Adele got
be
lucky.
that she has it for so long. Maybe she signed on
No, but that was
in
a different
before.
account. I showed it on my Southern Read account, not on my regular account.
When
I think it was
yes, when Adele says to take a screenshot of the Mentimeter, she's talking about using the snipping tool. You can either take a screenshot with by control. What do you do? Control what?
I do snip and sketch.
Or you can do the Windows button, Shift and S with you have to keep
there you go.
all three down.
Windows Shift S. Okay, thank you very much.
Melissa, Debbie, can I?
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Odaya?
Oh, thank you, Melissa. I just wanted to make sure so it would be completely clear. I'm looking at the post-session task and it says make Mentimeter poll record to slideshow mode. I need to choose one of them, right?
Only one.
Only one. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, Adele, can you unshare your screen, please?
I would like to ask one quick question, please.
Yes, go ahead.
For the post-session task, do you need the entire lesson plan or is it enough just to talk about the use of the Mentimeter poll in the lesson?
No, you write about the Mentimeter poll. You could write what you did before that and what you do after that, what you're going to do with these answers, like what your reason for using it is.
Okay, so the reference needs to be 90% about the tool itself.
Yeah, see how it helps. It's going to help you.
Well, the focus of this course, as you'll see,